Sheila, by the time you get this, you'll know where I have been. Hope kids are okay.
A year ago, Steve Jones spent New Year's Eve in Armley Prison awaiting trial. He was arrested on a picket line outside Frickley Pit in Yorkshire and charged with possessing explosives.
Thanks for papers again. If you bring any games, you can make it better for me to pass time on. I know you have a lot on your plate and will do no more to hurt you. Without you, my life and heart is gone.
They upset me. They upset kids. When this is all over, they'll all get burnt anyway. I don't want to be reminded of 1984 no more.
We saw him behind bars. And they says he'll get by, and he says they're not treating him very well. I says, you know, and I started crying, and my dad says, don't cry, it upsets me.
Things aren't the same anymore. I mean, I'm used to them being around the house. We go over to the garden together. Can't do that now. I'm doing it alone. And anyway, the partnership's like broke up, ain't it, when they're not here with you? It's terrible. I've got pigeons to see to. Things which my husband should have been doing.
Come on. Come on.
Hopefully, things will turn out for best. If not, I'll still keep fighting till I get him home. Shan't give up.
That's Chinese aftershave, isn't it? Socks, stationery. That's from my dad, from Paul, Beverly.
It's not been easy.
Sherry.
That's me when you've got 4 girls and that.
Me and Tammy. And Sherry.
In fact, we went to stay with my mother Christmas Eve till Christmas Day. We'll have to make up when things are normal again. If they ever get back to normal.
What did you feel about what happened?
Full of hate. Because it's through 2 people that went to work that all this trouble's been caused. They're bringing police in where it's not necessary. They're causing a lot of aggro. And I'm definitely bitter about it. Not as regarding the strike itself, it's with the government and the police for what they're doing. And they should not be allowed to do it. They're taking the law into their own hands. And you see, their word carries far.
Steve's out of prison. The most serious charge has been dropped, and he's now accused of possessing a petrol bomb. The conditions of his bail are that he must live at least 50 miles from home. A headmistress, who's a magistrate in Manchester, has offered to put Steve up in her house.
He's just missed his walk, that's all he's missed.
Oh, well, that's what he wants.
He's been out line.
I'll take him out to walk.
Oh, I'll take him when I go to the shop. It's all right, I'll see to him.
I didn't have any involvement in the case, really. It was just that my grandfather was a miner. And when Kevin said that they thought they could get a miner out of prison, and I knew a lot of them were being put into prison for quite minor offences, then, you know, I was willing to offer accommodation here. And the solicitor asked me to go to West Yorkshire, to Castleford, and to stand up in court and say that I would offer accommodation and I would offer a surety for him, which I was quite willing to do.
But you are a complete stranger.
Yes. But, I mean, sometimes strangers need your help as well. It doesn't really matter. And if you've grown up in a working class area, you know the sort of people you can trust.
No, they're going down to see their dad. We're staying overnight, and we'll see more of him.
Oh.
But thing is, we've got to come back tomorrow. One of you union lads has taken us down.
Can't get in.
Hopefully we can all get in. If not, I'll sit on boat.
I can't get in.
Oh, you can just cut her.
Walk you back up.
Oh, you can't.
You alright?
Yeah, something. Oh, you alright?
I'm cold. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So what should do? Start it off.
Sit down. I still think I'm dreaming. I haven't really come to the conclusion where I am now. Only today with my family being here, I know where I am now. Because I've been, when I've been laid in bed, I've been frightened to open my eyes, seeing that bloody door. And it was up to this morning. I knew then I was where I was. And it's been the most lovely feeling of my life to know I am somebody again. I'm myself. This company come, I've had a little mug.
Oh, your wife came.
That's nothing to do with it. You're as bad as me, you're same as me.
Yes.
Yes.
No, do you want a cup of tea then? Or would you like a drink of milk?
What do you want, children?
No.
Oh,
2 miles.
Right, enough tea and biscuit then. Come on, get yourself a tea. Well, I've had a mug all the time while I've been here.
Oh, yes, yes.
The company's here, I have a little cup.
In one violent night on Frickley picket line, 60 people, including 40 policemen, were injured. 4 people were arrested. Steve was one.
Suspected petrol bomb charge, what's supposed to have happened, what's gone off? Well, I haven't even done it, as they're trying to say I've done it. They cornered us into a corner house down Beach Street. Then after the corner, some got away. Well, I'd slipped on grass, but before I could get up, I got the biggest pasting of my life. Well, when I was down on the floor, I knew I couldn't get up, and I put my hands like that. I got a foot there. I finished up receiving that scar there, 5 stitches. I got a truncheon hit on my head receiving 2 stitches, and I had 2 truncheon marks across my arm and my leg, 2 across there, 2 across there, and 1 on my left knee. I was so badly beaten, I couldn't even get up or walk. They picked me up and carried me, and there was blood running down my face, down my clothes and everything, just completely covered in blood.
You've been through a lot. How do you think it's changed you?
It's changed me, it's made me a different person altogether, realising what your family mean to you, what your freedom means to you. People don't realise this until you're demoralised. And by God heaven above, when you go inside, you are demoralised. You're nobody. And it makes you hard in your body, hard in your mind, and hard in your strength. And it makes you fight for more than you've been fighting for. I wasn't a political man, but now I am more political because it's a political battle. Well, the only way I can put it into words, it's the government against the miners. And if it's not us, if it's when they get shut of us, they'll do something else. It's a battle of wits.
Why do you think the court made it a condition of bail that Steve lives at least 50 miles from home?
I think they were frightened that he'd go back to the picket lines again. And they were trying to get the miners out of West Yorkshire. That, I think, is a purely political decision. I wasn't terribly impressed with the way miners were being treated, and that's something between me and my own conscience, because I will now have a struggle, really, to go on being a magistrate, I think.
The people round here, what I can see, they're not as friendly as we are. They just keep themselves to themselves. They just say hello each street, walk past and go back into the houses. Where back home, we say hello or come in for a cup of tea and we have a natty. It's strange. I feel isolated because it's not a mining community, something different. And what I can see around here, they haven't got this friendship like we have. But this one man let money...
Steve's been asked to talk about the strike to a group of sixth form sociology students in suburban Cheshire.
Of last year. Now I'm out, I can express my feelings to everybody. That's why I'm here today. Express it to you, how we feel, and not to what the television or media shows. They only show the part they want to show. If we explain our part to you, you can use your own mind to make your own mind up. Over the years, you've heard this word scab, haven't you? Right. Well, over the years, this word has stuck in a mining community. Once you break that mining community spirit, you are rejected by that mining community.
Some people might call that kind of discipline pretty savage. What do you feel about that? Can you see how people would see it that way?
Well, people would see it on the outside as savage, but on the mining community side, it's something we have accepted in the mining community. We know whatever damage we do, we must suffer the penalty for the rest of our lives. Either that or move out.
Do your family support you in what you're doing, or do they feel...
Yes, my family support me because they know what's happening. It doesn't just concern my family, it concerns every other family. It's not just me. There's plenty more of us scattered about, and we split from the families. That is the whole idea, to try and break us family spirit and the family community spirit. That's what they're after. But the more they try, the solid we get. When I get up in the morning, I just make sure everything's okay. Make myself a cup of tea. Might now and again have a bit of breakfast. More than that, I don't bother. After I've got up, made myself a cup of tea, I sit down, listen to wireless, find out what's going on, and I use my own judgment regarding what's said. Then after that, I tidy around, tidy everything nice and tidy, sit down, read paper again, and then just listen. That's the more or less routine every morning.
Figures from Nick Jones. Up to 50 men are reported to have returned at the Dinnington Colliery in South Yorkshire, near Kiverton Park, where there was a mass return a fortnight ago. In Scotland, the board says another 104 mine workers are back this morning, twice the number for last year.
It's very, very boring indeed, but I know I must put up with it. I don't try and fill my mind if I can, because if I try and fill my mind, it takes me back to what's happened, and I've just got to forget it and take it in my stride. I might now and again just think about home, and I feel depressed and upset, but I have learned to come out of it. So I try not to fill my mind up with anything, otherwise I know what can happen.
What could happen?
Well, the worst thing could happen, I could go straight back home. There is once or twice I've wanted to go back home.
Do you mean break conditions of bail and,
yes,
and just go home?
I just want to go home to my family. 'Cause it's strange, it's different. The friendship is not here like we have back home. I could go now, but I know I can't, otherwise It's jeopardising for everything's being done. And I've got to stop here, whatever there may cost and happen. I've got to abide by what I've been told by. If I break this, I know I've had it. All my conditions have gone and they'll never come no more. So I've just got to wait for the day I can go back home. That's what my home means to me. I've never been away from my family. And it's strange. I don't like it. It's too quiet round here.
But you're obviously aware of people doing their best to help you and to make it as easy for you as possible.
Yes. People are trying to make it easier for me while I'm here. But it's different. The different attitudes and everything. I accept now what's going off here. I know I've got to accept it, so I've got to get myself into a daily routine. I look forward to going out as much as I can, just to get me out of here, because I know what it means. Freedom is the most important thing in anybody's life. And since I've been in this bit of bother, I've had my freedom, I've had my rights, and I've had my freedom took away from me, and I don't like it.
Steve's back in court to apply for his exile to be lifted. You dressed for the occasion?
Yes, I've got to show a good impression to these people inside. I don't want to show them as I'm a trouble cause. I just want to show them as I'm a family man and I'm myself. This is how I go out on a weekend. This is the first time I've ever been to this sort of job, and I'm rather nervous, so I don't know till I go in, but I'm hoping to pull through.
What happened?
Going home. Couldn't wish for anything better.
How do you feel?
Great.
Top of the world.
It's great.
Do you expect to have him back?
I was optimistic, but we had a good judge. He's not a Tory. So we can get back to normal now and see how things come when it's up at court around about September. So all we've got about is going home now.
Well, the judge today has basically said that no longer is it justifiable to impose these onerous exile conditions on defendants who should otherwise be at home with their families.
You miss me? I missed all of you.
The wording of Steve's charge has been changed. Now there's no mention of a petrol bomb, simply a milk bottle with inflammable liquid.
I didn't even think I'd be coming home. Didn't even think. Not one little bit. Why have they reduced the charge again? That's twice they've reduced it.
Because they haven't enough evidence.
Because they haven't enough evidence. I know they haven't enough evidence. But they've reduced it. Again, that's twice. So, I've said all along, it stinks, kid, from top to bottom, it stinks. All I can do now is just hope and pray again and wait and see what's going off. Sorry, Beryl, I just couldn't resist. It was where I've been. We're not taking Tom Jones back to Manchester.
Oh, bigger.
Them monkeys there. I'm not going to get involved.
United! This is what you get! This is what you get! going back to this is why you voted again! Another one! Sacked! Why you voted again? We shall not cross a picket line!
We're not going down till we've all been reinstated. It's a waste of time everybody's saying Yorkshire's going back. Yorkshire's not going back. It's been a bloody big fight and we're going to fight it through.
The fight is now about the reinstatement of sacked miners. Steve doesn't yet know if he's one of them.
Well, that's all I'm asking, Dick, just to find out whether I have been sacked.
Position is Steve as I know, aren't had a letter stating that has been dismissed. And as far as branch is concerned, they're not dismissed.
So I'm in order going up to present myself to see whether I can have my checks out?
Yes.
That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, you're entitled to go up there and get your checks and see what...
Well, as you know, I didn't want to go up as what I've gone through while the crowd were up in case there were any bother. So I've waited now until it's all dispersed.
Yeah. That's
all I'm asking. I'll go and present myself now, as I've done for the last 18 months.
And as I know, there's a picket line on there.
Yes. I shall abide by it as usual. Just tell them I'm going for my checks and coming back out again.
Right.
Morning, gentlemen. Can I've been asked to present myself by union representation. Am I in order going?
All they've done this morning, Tom, they've got a note on the checks to say what shift they're on.
That's all I'm...
The lads what have been sacked, definitely, haven't got any checks to get a note on.
Well, I haven't been sacked. That's all I'm asking. Am I in order presenting myself?
Ask for the checks, and if that can get them, fair enough.
Well, that's all I want to know.
Then give them back, and they come back out.
That's all I wanted to know. Am I in order? Because if you want me to stop here and not go, I will not go.
They can find out whether the checks are on that board with rest of it. If they're not, we don't carry on, no.
Right, well, that's all I'm asking. Thank you, lads.
Right, don't still wait.
Checks out there, I'm happy about it, yeah.
I'm on afters.
What's he said, Tommy? There's some money to come.
He's got a wage slip, he's been scabbing.
First money I've seen for 12 months.
It's last year.
I know it's last year.
Last year's expensive.
I says, what's this for? He says, it's money owing to you.
16 pence return. I've got bus money to go.
But I'm just pleased I haven't got the sack for the time being.
Right.
All I wanted is that.
That's the good we've ripped ours up.
On Frickley, we'll see that these lads do not...
Nationally, the strike is over, but at Frickley, there's one more vote.
All in favour now? Right. The switch starts at work tonight at 6 o'clock night or 10 o'clock night.
Well, it's to be expected what went off at meeting this morning. The feeling at lads, we wanted to go back because we knew we didn't want to split us all lads down middle. If we had it done, it would have split us completely. It would have been man against man, and Frickley has been the most militant pit out. Hey up, kid. What do you think's going to happen when we get down here?
How long?
It will be. It'll be hell let loose, you know. That I know all about it myself.
They'll be shitting the sends.
Well, they will. Something we've got to take in a stride, that's all we can do, just get back to normal and just wait and see what happens. We'll get back into routine.
Take us a bit of it.
It'll take at least fortnight, 3 weeks at least before we get some coil turned out.
It might be more.
So all we can do is just find out now what's going off when we get down.
Frickley Colliery is producing coal again. But for Steve Jones, life's still not back to normal.
So I always told my children, and I was taught myself, if you need any help, go to the police. No more, because they cannot be trusted.
Under the terms of his bail, Steve has to report once a week to the local police station.
Well, he's started back at work, but unfortunately he had to be off due to these headaches he keeps getting due to beating.
Steve's complained of violent headaches since the night he was arrested on the picket line. His doctor has ordered hospital checks to see if there's any permanent brain damage.
I was just sat watching television and then I got a nasty sharp pain just right where the scar is on right above the right eye. And it just seems as if thousands of pins were just sticking in my head. And then the next thing I remember was the doctor putting the needle in my arm to give me a sedative.
Has that happened before? Was it the first time?
This is the first time this has happened. I've never had no trouble at all with my head. I can't afford to. We've been a machine man outfit.
Right, we're just going to move you across to the bed now.
Spin your legs up and then just
roll at the back of your head just to see what you think. It's just comfortable.
Yes, thank you.
Right, you just sit nice and still, just relax. All right?
Okay.
You won't feel a thing. Right, we're ready to start now. Okay, just
Okay.
relax.
Yes.
Now, if you just close your eyes.
It's my first daughter's wedding, so shows what, she's having a good one.
Have you got the duties now then, have you? Yeah. I knew you had. I knew you were doing one of them.
It's supposed to be the best time of your life, isn't it?
Chair that chair, we can.
There's 3 trays of trifles.
Yeah.
There'll be 3 trays of
Bums, easy.
bread.
Bloody hell, what's it cost me for them bums? About 25 smackers.
Can't be that bad, surely.
Right, sit there between you.
I'm sick of seeing bloody chips.
Dig in, because it's last you'll get while tea time.
Come on, because you'll be getting ready, you too soon.
25 to 12.
I know, but I have to get ready.
No.
And hopefully I might have time for a bath. You've all been in by me.
There's no chance for a bath. Water's all gone, lady.
Never did this morning.
Could it last again?
Okay, this way, Paul. Lovely. That's it. Lovely. That's fine, thank you. Come here, Scott.
Come here, Scott. Oh, you're going with Dad.
Just get close. Right, up on your toes at the back, please.
Thank you for coming. Being my first daughter's wedding and I have got, I don't know how to make a speech. But I would like to say one thing. I don't know whether you know, but what happened to me during the miners' strike, without this certain lady being here, I would not be here today at my daughter's wedding. May I say thank you very much to Mrs. Keller. Joyce, please stand up. First of all, may I toast the bride and groom? To Beverly and Paul.
Beverly and Paul.
May God be with you. Right, thank you. You may get stuck in now. I'm just glad everything's gone smooth. I couldn't ask for nothing else. She should have got married last year, but as you know, the strike was on and I couldn't give it her. So I vowed I would give it her if I got back home, and when I got back to her time, I've done it. And I put 4 months into one day, and I'm really proud.
Joyce, how does it feel to be back on Steve's home territory?
Oh, lovely. I've been here before, you know. Been over a few times, so it's nice. But it's nice to come into a family thing like this.
As a magistrate, have you had any repercussions since Steve was with you in the spring?
Oh yes, I've had a few repercussions. We had a fair amount of literature through the door, letters, and I had my own bench who objected. But they weren't necessarily objecting to Steve being in my house as a guest. What they were objecting to was my comment that Steve being in jail was an abuse of bail.
And what do you make of that objection?
Well, it isn't a valid objection. It's a clear abuse of bail and a clear use of the law. So, I mean, I really don't apologise for the comments I made or the comments I made on the court case in the first place. I wouldn't back down off them.
I'm just glad it's over. I've enjoyed it, and I think everybody else has. You can't complain, can they? That's all I'm talking about. And you will all have hangovers.
Want that, Kevin?
Oh, no, Kevin, I've got one, thank you.
Got one?
I should have said 2. I've got 2. I've 2 to go at.
Hello, love. Could you put me through to Dr. Davis's secretary? Well, I'll try and explain best I can. My husband came for a brain scan in July.
11th of July.
And he also came about 3 to 4 weeks ago for an X-ray. And we've been waiting for results and everything. I phoned this morning and she was supposed to ring me back as secretary. I will, love you.
What a pantomime.
Did you find anything out for me? Strang? Yeah. Is it Dr. Strang or Strange or somebody? Well, if you just hang on, love, can you tell my husband because he's outside of me?
Yes, hello, love. Yes, darling. Yes, darling, on the 11th of July, love. Yes, well, can you tell him, love, also when he does it, darling, and I'm out at pit for the time being until these are sorted out. I've had to come out for my own safety and for men's safety. I'm £30 a week down, which is a lot, and I dare not go down until this lot's sorted out. And I've got to know, love, as soon as possible. Okay, kid, everything's right.
Hey?
No problem. No problem at all, everything's clear.
Where did it go? Took them all this time to find out.
Everything's clear. Thank Christ for that.
Took off to him then.
What's up here? No problem at all.
Well, what did he say then?
He just said he's given me a good checking over. Asked me how things were and if I were working normal. I says, well, it's up to you working normal. I says, I'm on picked up, as you know, and I says, it's up to you now, so he's going to send a letter through and clear me.
And what happens if they reoccur?
I have to let him know straight away, but I'm hoping away. It's up to me now.
Oh. You're just waiting for a bloody court case now, then, isn't it?
Come on. Come on. Just a little bit more while tea time. When I'm down, I just try and forget things what's gone off. But it's always at the back of my mind. I just try and not think about it, because if I do, I upset myself and I upset my family, and it's not fair on these. These won't looking after because they can't look after themselves. Regarding to picketing on that, really, what should have happened when it all boiled down, I should have come home, but I was that involved with being a miner, and always will be a miner. I've got that involved. Things got out of hand, and I just happened to be one what got pulled in for all the trouble. They'd got to pick somebody up, and I was there. Come on. The date is 9th of December at Wakefield Crown Court, so all I can do is just carry on day by day and wait and see what happens. Very relieved, great, in fact. It's just all over and done with now, 13 months of misery. Really beautiful.
The judge made a ruling on the law, which meant that the jury had to acquit him at the end of the prosecution case of the offence with which he was charged.
Saying, in effect, there was no case to answer.
Indeed, yes.
It was just a fantastic feeling to walk out of there and know that Steve hadn't that to face and that he was going to be home this Christmas, because he missed all last Christmas. And it was just a wonderful feeling. It was lovely.
What made me a little bit happy when, before he asked the jury to come with a verdict, his most intriguing words was to me, he says there was insufficient evidence and it was game, set and match for Mr. Jones. And then I could have jumped for joy, but I know I daren't.
Well, we were crying for joy, weren't we, love?
I just couldn't believe it. Just couldn't believe it. I was still stumped when I said I was dismissed. I was still in a daze. But when I told I was dismissed, I couldn't go out quick enough. I wanted to go out and not come back no more. It was so beautiful.
It was a fantastic day.
Well, I just noticed that there.
Maggie thinks she's won, but she hasn't.
Just one good night's sleep.
You'll get it.
80.
And it'll be party night weekend.
Wait. Take you one, Peter.
It's just been hell. I don't know if I did what was right, but I still think I would do it again.
Well, I'm not going to say I'm particularly happy about it when he goes out, but I'd rather he went to work than stayed at home. I'm quite pleased to see him come back, and if he's a bit late, then, you know, you get a bit agitated. Yes, I suppose that's all there is to say about it. Yes, I'm a bit apprehensive.
I married my wife with the understanding that I didn't want her to go out to work. I promised to keep her, and I wasn't doing that. And if I let my bank balance run out, then I broke my promise. And my first promise was to my wife, not to the union, not to the pick company. That promise was made before them, and that's a promise I would have to keep.
Albert Nichols has broken the strike and returned to work. For his own safety, he's been sent to another pit, and that means a 15-mile trip to meet the police escort.
I was hoping to get redundancy, and I think the NCB would have honoured what they promised me. But of course, we went on a strike. It's a terrible feeling because these chaps I've worked with all my life. That's the hard part about it.
You're picking up stones?
Just to try to stone a man to death, or to hit him with a hilti gun bolt. He must be an animal. He can't be a human being anymore, can he? There was only 3 of us in that van originally.
Did you ever imagine that a journey to work would be such an ordeal?
No, I never thought. I never thought people would react like that.
We never thought Margaret Thatcher would allow people to congregate. Although we're strong Conservatives, we never ever thought they would allow them to intimidate. We really didn't. We thought they would stop it when they saw how bad it was getting.
Albert, the pickets say they just want the opportunity to talk to you.
We've given them the opportunity twice to speak to us. They've never spoke any sense at all. The only thing they've told us is what I already know, that my parents weren't married, and I'm a scab. So that the pickets have never spoken any sense to me whatsoever.
Albert, why did you decide to go on strike in the first place?
I decided to go on strike through fear. I didn't agree with the strike, but being a member of the community and a member of the union, I wouldn't have had any chance of going to work at that period.
What specifically were you frightened of?
I was frightened of the pickets, the hooligans. I was frightened for my wife, I was frightened for the house.
Then why did you decide he should go back to work?
Well, Nick will tell you many, but I should say principle. Really and truly. Yes, I think it is. I mean, it's no good having thoughts and not saying them. I believe that he was doing the right thing by going back. That's the main thing. I don't think anyone should dictate to anybody else ever. Happy New Year to you.
Well, in time will last at 2 years, I think
It was the second item. That was the second item on the offer today. Redundancy, if you wanted it.
Albert Nichols will be given redundancy before April.
You're responsible to yourself.
Exactly. They've allowed it to happen.
Not they, we, every single one
You're
of us.
an individual.
We've allowed it to happen. We've allowed other people to rule our lives. We're responsible to ourselves for every action we commit.
That's right.
But you know, I've always gone to union meetings. But when it comes that I'm afraid, and I've always advocated people, if people would only go to the union meetings, the left wing could never take over. But the last time I went to the union meeting and I were afraid,
yes.
They said to the meeting, Tony, was that you've got the lonely left at the door, and as a person such as yourself walked in, they'd give you 4 companions. And as I walked in, they'd give me 6 because I'm a bit bigger than you. And then when they told you to sit, you sat. Because if somebody puts their hand on your shoulder and is big enough, you'll go down. And I've never seen meetings like this. I mean, all right, I've always been at the opposite side, and I've never carried a vote. But at least I've been able to talk. But not now.
So then, if that's the way you feel about that part of it, what would you wish most of all? Other than your redundancy in 1985, which I know is your own overriding thing, what would you like in 85?
Well, I think I'd like the union to collapse completely.
You would, really?
Well, I think as the union, as I do the welfare state, the damn good things. The welfare state is the most wonderful thing I've ever known. But it's that corrupt, and so is the union, until once you get to... I mean, if you take a sack of potatoes and you've got one bad one, you pull it out. But what if you've got 3 parts of one bag? You don't sort them. You just tip it out or you start again. And I think that's where you've got to start with the union now.
Until we start to root out this strong left-wing element in our universities and in our colleges, this will erupt and erupt in various walks of life. I'm sure that this is where the rot started. I think the people who've decided to be revolutionaries have been very, very clever. They've known where to get their foot in and where to keep it in.
But once this is over, if Arthur Scargill still lost his job tomorrow, he's still got them supporters.
No,
these left-wing supporters, they will always be there, ready for another time.
It's always been the same. For 10 years, we've just had politics coming in, politics coming in.
Albert and Nora Nichols have 4 children. One of them, Timmy, is a striking miner. Have you asked him to break the strike?
Many times, many times. He thinks that if we go back to work, it would destroy the union. And he doesn't want to, he can't imagine a life without a union.
If he wasn't so big, I'd smack his bottom and send him back, to be honest. But he's too big to do that. But it's his decision. It's his decision. I mean, you don't rear children and then tell them what to do you? It's just one of those things.
Are you supporting him?
My husband worked jolly hard to keep him until he was 18. We kept all our children until they were 18, and we always said then they would keep themselves. And he is at liberty to keep himself. No, I wouldn't help him now. And I truly mean that. I wouldn't help him now.
You can't say you disagree with helping striking miners and then give to your son, who is a striking miner.
No.
You can't have two standards. If he, same as the rest of the striking miners, anyone who helps them is doing injustice to the country that they live in.
But it's your own son.
Yeah.
He's not starving, my dear. He can walk in here now and I'll give him a cup of coffee and a cake. But I certainly wouldn't give him any financial help. No, I really wouldn't.
If he's allowed to think for himself, then he should be allowed to be responsible for his own actions. And I agree with him. Be responsible for your actions. But it's not for me to feed him or to support him.
I mean, let's put it this way. I think this is more to the point. Nick's principal took him back to work. And we lived in fear for him going back to work. Well, if Tim wants to starve, really and truly, that's his prerogative. That's his right. But to stop him from doing what he decides is the right thing, which is starving, then we wouldn't be doing him any favours. That's what builds character when all's said and done. Isn't it?
So you'd see your own son starve for his principles?
If necessary, if that's what he felt was the right thing to do, I couldn't interfere. That's my son. That's his character that I would be destroying if I interfered. Can't you see that?
Now, it's got down to the state that we're lucky to muster 30 on the picket line, and there's 3 vans and a bus going through. So, and all we'd get is a bit of shouting, I don't see any hilty guns at all now. And the stones very, very seldom hit us because they push them far enough back that if the stone does hit you, it has no force about it.
What changes have you seen in Albert in the last year?
He's certainly older than a year. And I think not as confident, perhaps. But then I suppose that comes through fear, really. I think that's what's wrong. Or, you know, the sort of things, if you've been a proud person, then you obviously haven't enjoyed, as the union would term it, putting your head down to go to work. I think that is rather stupid because although he's had to put his head down and go up the alleyways, he's shown a great deal more courage than the pickets. But I think that that's had an effect because he's not been able to put his head high and proclaim what he's truly believed. He may have followed his conscience, but he hasn't been allowed to proclaim it, and I think that's had an effect on him insofar that, yes, I think he's lost a bit of confidence that way. I don't like him going for a walk without me, and I don't think he likes me going for a walk without him, so that before we had our own little times, now we both like to make sure they're together. So if anything does happen, it's going to happen to two of us, not to one of us.
The trouble started on Saturday night. General shouting, scab, scab, scab. But at 11:30, they eventually decided to stone the windows.
Where did the brick come through?
It came through just about there. The bricks finished up, one here and two at the far end, one on that set of drawers there, sideboard.
Well, who are they?
Well, the lads that live on this estate that have known us all their lives. In fact, one of the lads, we brought his mother out of hospital with him when he was born. And we've always tried to help them. It really doesn't matter what we've tried to do, but we have tried to do various things for them. But we've certainly never done them any harm. But we have tried to do them some good. But it hasn't counted for anything.
What does it feel like sitting here at night?
Terrible. Terrible.
It's, for myself, it's not fear. I don't fear.
No, it isn't.
It's the suspense, it's the waiting, the waiting and waiting to wait. You just feel like a sitting duck. If you're fighting, you can get engrossed in a fight, but when you're just sat here, it's quite unnerving when you go up to the top there and you can see there's about half a dozen. You think this number's getting a bit high, because your decision is that you've got 3 here, and so you're prepared to take 3 or 4 on. But when the number gets beyond that, then you've got to start wondering,
That's not not my reaction.
No.
My reaction is very different to yours. Last night, I'm ashamed to say, my son had an iron tube, and he would have used it. And I've always taught my children that violence doesn't get you anywhere.
Are they trying to get you out?
Out of the house? You mean out of it altogether? I wouldn't know. I don't know what they want to achieve, really. I honestly don't know what they want to achieve. I think they'll succeed, because according to the way they talk, it won't stop after the pit strike is over. And I wouldn't be prepared to go on living this way, and I think we shall have done our duty when it's over. I mean, we've stood a corner, haven't we? And I think also we must have shown people that there's an awful lot of violence that needs attention.
Albert, would you consider being driven out like that?
Well, I don't like the thought of having to be driven out, but I would consider that, yes, I would be driven out. I wouldn't want to carry on life as it is like
And do you know
today.
another thing that's affected us deeply? The church.
Yeah.
I've never been a regular church goer, but we've gone. I've gone more than my husband. And our vicar wrote in the paper that the striking miner should be tolerant of the working miner. And he was definitely, and he is, in favour of the striking miner. I don't think he's in favour of the violence, but he hasn't condemned it. And I don't want to be tolerated for doing what I think is right. I want to be on an equal footing. And I feel so strongly that now, although I've got faith, I haven't got a church, because there's nothing down there. That definitely hit me.
The bitter legacy of the past 12 months means that Albert's been moved to yet another pit in the hope that he won't be recognised as a strikebreaker.
Made a start at 7:30 this morning from our house. Got to work, clocked on, but were informed not to get changed. Hung around, found out that no one's going to move until the parade comes in at 9. Eventually, after the parade, I went across to our porter cabin, told to just check my clothes and check my tools, make sure that I've got everything, which took about half an hour. By this time, I realised that the rest of the chaps weren't going to speak to me. And then just hung around till 12 o'clock, and the boss turned around and said, well, I think it'd be better if you go home, Albert. So I came home. That's the end of the day.
How did you feel about that?
Well, a little upset. It might be beneficial for me, because if I'm an embarrassment to them, they may give me what I want, and that is my redundancy.
Today is the day the miners' strike officially ended. Just one day.
It's a defeat for everybody. The country has lost a tremendous amount of money, which affects everybody. It all comes out of taxes.
Today, the miners' leader, Mr. Scargill, said he wanted his men to return with dignity, with heads held high.
He's won. He intended to bring this country down. He hasn't brought it down, but he's certainly beggared it, hasn't he? I think he's doing what he meant to do.
Which was?
Well, I don't know how you'd put it into words, but certainly to, I think he would have liked to have seen himself as a dictator of this country. He'll not get that. But he's done this country a tremendous amount of damage. And I think that he will be quite proud of that. But he is, because he's saying today about his magnificent men. And I would like everyone to see what his magnificent men have done to two ordinary people that have just worked. They're not particularly good, they're not particularly bad, they're just ordinary people. And if any man can, and a public figure can stand up and say that those people are magnificent, then they're warped. So he must, in his mind, think that he's won. Because he's certainly beaten us in the end, hasn't he?
I think I've done everything that the boss has asked me and everything I think that the coal boat should ask me. And then today, nobody says goodbye. It's been strange, very strange. People don't talk, or people don't hear you, and then you don't know whether they're not talking or not. But we've managed to get through. That's all I wanted to do. I've got to not lose my temper, because many times when they tried to trip me up or silly little things like that, you could draw you, and I have a temper. But today's the day, and I haven't lost my temper.
What do you feel about these people? Do you understand how they react towards you?
No, I don't. Because these chaps are intelligent chaps. They're not stupid. And they can't be thinking what they're doing. That's what I can't understand about them.
What would normally happen after all those years of service at a pit like this? What would normally have happened on a date?
Normally, they would have a party. And, you know, a drink too. And you'll have a present. But, unfortunately, not for me. Not even a word of cheerio or goodbye. From the boss down to the bottom, nobody.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could just have your attention just for a few minutes. First of all, a belated welcome to our house. May I say what a pleasure it was when Albert asked me if we could use this house to host his retirement party. The National Coal Board, believe it or believe it not, lost a good man last Wednesday, wasn't it, Albert? He walked out when he walked out on last Wednesday. And when someone's worked 33 years for a firm, you'd expect somebody to come along and give him a gold watch or have a bit of a collection for him or give him a scroll
Oh, thank you.
or with gold edging on or something like that, or present him with a silver tea set, but unfortunately with nobody here. He's had a lot of trouble, and with other people who's had trouble, and every credit to him. I'm very proud of him that he went back. Another person I think I must mention before we sort of ask Albert to make a big long speech, and that is Nora. Come in, Nora.
Well, I'll come, but it's nothing to do with me, really, you know, Jeff.
I don't think that Albert could have managed this last 12 months without a wife like Nora. She's supported him 100%. She's been very enthusiastic. She stood by him through thick and thin, and she's done really well. And I'd like to thank you, Nora, on behalf of the family and your friends for helping Albert out and looking after him. Okay, and I'd also like to thank all his friends over here.
Oh, that's most of it. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I'd just like to take this final opportunity in wishing Albert and Nora every happiness and good health in their retirement.
I've got all my support team here, and I've got all my friends here. So it's the night that I saw a long time to forget.
There's you, Albert, and there are thousands of other miners younger than you who have spent enough time down the pit, Albert, who should have been able to accept redundancy, but for Arthur Scargill. What a shame that the average miner placed so much faith in Arthur Scargill, who wanted to deprive you, Albert, of what you've got now, what I've got, because I'm redundant as well. You know, so there's nothing wrong with redundancy, Albert, because that's the only way you get justice. You know.
Well, how do you feel tonight on this occasion?
Relieved. Mostly. Very happy, really, yes. A bit sad for him, I suppose.
Do you think he's sad?
Well, he was sad this morning. I think he's happy today. But yes, he was. He was very sad this morning, but yes.
There's one member of your family who isn't here. That's your son, Tim.
Yes.
Why isn't he here?
We went down this morning, but he wouldn't come. So The excuse was that he was on afternoons, and also that the car wouldn't start, but I think they were excuses because obviously we would have brought him. And I'm sorry, because I think it needed courage to come in Timmy's position. And so I'd have liked him to have had that courage.
Hello, Tom. So what are you doing, eh? I got what I wanted most in life. I wanted to be able to retire and, you know, with my health, and I have done.
Do you think about the pit, and do you think about the strike at all?
Well, yes, but it's fading, and it's fading faster than I thought it would do. You see, I don't have a lot to do, you know, with miners, and therefore, you know, I'm more interested in talking about cars or the garden than what I am about the strike. And as soon as the strike's over, it's fading fast.
6 months ago, at the height of the strike, you were talking of it as a battle. I wonder if you're reflecting on any kind of victory now.
No, I don't think anyone could have won. It isn't a battle that you could win. It's a battle that you've got to fight, but you're not going to win when it's finished.
Nora, what happened with the window?
Well, I should imagine it was a bullet. Can't imagine it was anything else, but we were upstairs in bed. And I heard a noise and jumped out, and it was gone. But we didn't see anybody. To be honest, it doesn't really bother me now. I think I'm growing used to it. We went back to bed after this one.
But it must mean pressure for you and Albert.
Well, yes, I suppose it does, but it not like it was. I think, you know, you get used to anything in time, don't you?
How long can you live with this?
As long as I have to, I think. If Nick cracks up, then I suppose we shall move, or if the children exert too much pressure, but not much point in going through this much, is there, and then backing it up.
I'm their daughter, and they've been very good to me. And I would like them to move because I worry about them. But I don't know if they want to move. They've lived here all their lives, or virtually all their married lives. It's the only home they've ever had. And my dad's worked very hard in the garden all his life for his retirement. And it just seems so unjust that now that he has the time to enjoy it, because he's always been a 7-day-a-week man, he's never had time to enjoy it before, now that he has the time, that he's going to be done out of it.
I wouldn't want to move. And I think that, unfortunately, the area that we can move in, we're not going to get away from the troubles that we have. Now, to move, as I said, about 100 miles away, that would cure it. But it would also put something else up then. We would have lost his family, and they wouldn't be happy then, because we'd be too far away. So, you know, between the devil and the deep blue sea.
Nora, what happened?
Well, about 1:30 on Monday morning, Nick had just gone to the toilet and I was in bed. And a rock came through this window, followed by 2 or 3 others. And of course you can see what happened to the glass. Showered all over the bed and me. Well, these are some of the rocks. I don't know if you can gauge the weight of them from there. Well, I'm a cook. Certainly heavier than a 2-pound bag of sugar. 1 pebble would have broken that window. They didn't need as many as came in, all nor as big nor as heavy. They've had plenty of experience to know that. They only have to make 1 hole, and the glass has to be replaced. So when they go to the lengths they did on Sunday night, then obviously there's more to it than just breaking a window and making us uncomfortable.
What sort of freedom is it, lying in your bed night after night, worrying about this kind of thing?
What sort of freedom isn't it? This is my home. What are you going to take away from me? 35 years of work? The only home, married home I've had. You're not going to do it, you know. My son-in-law rang up yesterday and begged us to move into his house and just forget this one. You know nobody wants mother-in-law. But anyway, obviously we wouldn't do it. This is our fight and it's not theirs. But by the same token as I've given them freedom, I must have freedom. That again comes the big F, doesn't it? I have the freedom to choose and I decide that I will stay here.
We're not going to gain anything by trying to hang on and try to stand up to principles. We're going to lose out because as long as we stick, I think, harder they will come onto us. Until I think eventually we'll either move or they'll move us. So I think we will be better off moving. But at the end of the day, it's a partnership, is this? The reason why I think we ought to move is because I fear that I'm not going to be physically strong enough if they do invade or try to break in. I don't think I should be strong enough to hold them back. Not without arms or something like that.
Which of you two is now the stronger member of this partnership?
Which one has always been the stronger part of our partnership? My wife.
Talking about physical or mental?
Mentally, always. Physically, well, obviously. But mentally, my wife has always run the show.
Oh, yeah.
Come here, Sim.
Can't quite see what they're going to do because they're going all round the outside of it, aren't they?
Come here, Sim. I'll put him on the lead now.
Will you?
I don't want him to run off the road.
No, go on then. Go on the road.
Knocking about.
Good fella. Good. I haven't got any regrets. We didn't go into it expecting it to be an easy deal. I haven't honestly got any regrets. Come here, Sim. Don't wander off.
Are you determined now to stay put?
I always was.
Sure. She hasn't changed, so it doesn't make a difference, that.
Is there anything you might have done differently, looking back?
Yeah, I think differently, yes. I would never come on strike. I would have worked through.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't. You can say that, but you know that you wouldn't. So, no, you wouldn't have done that.
How are things on Saturday nights?
Oh, quite good. We've done quite well. Very well, in fact. Yes. I think it's quieting down, don't you?
Yeah. If we had a bit of a noise, you still...
Oh, yes.
You'll never be the same as what you was before the strike. You hear a noise and, what's that? What? Before, I mean, it was just an ordinary noise and nobody bothered about it. But now, you're on guard all the time.
Yeah. Another one. We'll cross over. It's Jack anyway. Yeah. That's it, up. Can you hear it?
Yeah. I hope that the sound thing picks it up.
I hope they do too.